You're listening to WRFB Radio Free Britannia. And no other better freaking place in the world than Deltona, Florida. Here you are, lunch with no other than the dynamic duo, Laz and Jack.
And greetings, everybody. This is Laz.
This is Jack. Welcome to Lunch with Laz and Jack. Today we are joined in the studio by Shroud.
Did you see the song I just dedicated, Dark Star?
And Casey's somewhere around here.
We're on the air. Want to come over and join us in Discord? Please come on over. Go to NBNN.info. Go down to Discord. Click on Connect and come on in and talk to us. But yes,
yeah.
We have nothing loaded up as of yet this moment, but of course we got Release 27 coming out tomorrow, of course. That's the hottest topic in the news.
What's up, what's up?
Of course, today is February 24th, 2016, Wednesday, for the record here in Shroud and the Avatar, and welcome everybody to the show. I'm going to apologize right off the bat to Justin out there because we're having some radio issues.
I'm over in NBNN.
And
I guess I should text her first and say that the radio is broken right now.
Yeah, as it's playing, it's going through. I keep connecting, disconnecting. I'm in game. I'm talking to you guys, but the radio just doesn't seem to get the signal out. Everything's working. I'm going to keep working on getting it back here just to see what's going on with that. But meanwhile, we're just going to go and roll with today's show. Of course, tomorrow, Release 27 coming out. Going to be a whole bunch of new changes coming out down the road. I don't know because I've been busy all morning. I actually just got off the phone with Starlong, talking about a couple of questions and points that have been a heated discussion amongst many people out there. And we're going to get an answer to that officially. There should be a comment on some of that out there in the forums as well. We're going to go ahead and sit down with Star next week and get ourselves an interview and sit down and get these questions asked and answered on the air live for all you folks out there. So we're going to ask you to come and join us to catch up on all that because there's quite a few issues that have been sensitive and I really don't want to get too deep into them right now, only because a lot of this is still on the Dev Plus boards. So with that said, do we have, again, I haven't gotten to do anything because I've been on the phone all morning.
We do not have a stand-up corner, but if we were looking at a stand-up corner, it would probably say bugs. Yeah.
Bug.
I mean, this is release week, and that is par for the course for them to be going out and slaying as many bugs as humanly possible.
Absolutely. Now, I'm also, as well as many other people, Dark Star has been working on the Release 27 post. We usually get that about this time of the day, so we'll be looking for that as well. We know a lot of stuff's been happening back there at the offices, as well, again, release day coming up. So a lot of that is going on behind the scenes. Now, I want to look and just see if there is an updated post here. I do see a shooter add-on package.
Yeah, that is actually an excellent request for the in-game cylinders. And if you notice at the very end of that, Star did reply and say that is in the works.
Right, yeah.
So, shooter add-on store package, please, with wax store, cylinders, album posters, Pet Panther, OK, go. That's from Themalock. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom, in the works, stay tuned by Star.
Yeah,
so.
Now, I love the Pet Panther toss in there by Themalock. I was talking to him last night, and he understands a lot of what was going on. But anyway, let me just tell you, Duke, go out to nbnn.info. We're using Discord these days. While we keep this room open to tell everybody about it, we do not broadcast in here any longer. He's been working with the Duke all night. Like I said, I was up late, banging out and trying to get some questions answered, talking to other people. And we're going to put to rest a lot of misconceptions coming up about lot placement, lot selection, and a lot of other questions that people have.
Yeah, because there was a change in policy, and although this is all Dev Plus right now, this will all be coming out during the interview next week with Starlong.
Correct. And again, there should be some information coming out today. I spoke again with him, and he says he's going to get a post out there to the folks specifically addressing one of these major points. The other points, of course, will come out in the interview next week. When I asked him about this, actually, he's the one who said, would it help if we did an interview? And, of course, I said, absolutely.
Yes, it would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'd love to have everybody hear it from the horse's mouth while we're doing it. And I says, we can do it this way, we can do it that way. And, of course, we're going to do it live because of the transparency issue. We don't want any edits. We don't want any questions about whether, something was cut or, taken out of context. So this, of course, will be another live interview here on NBNN. And we'll get a lot of pressing questions answered. As well, I think that'll give us an opportunity to, ask about a couple other things in depth, what's coming up, how things are progressing as, they're planning. There's a lot of stuff that's available to us in the forums and other places. But there's a lot of people doing a lot of speculating, and that's where the problems lie. So we're going to try and put to rest, a lot of speculation as it may be. Answer a lot of questions that are just being answered wrong because they haven't been answered. Or should I say, for a better terminology, because this is one of the points we went back and forth on. It's not that the question hasn't been answered. The question's been answered, but it hadn't been detailed enough to say A, B, C. This is the answer.
The hard part about that is, it's already an essay that Star is writing with those posts, and it just exacerbates the situation when he has to spend 3 or 4 paragraphs explaining the reasons behind the decision.
Now, one of my frustrations here is that, we had information. We had plenty of information, but the burning question just wasn't being answered. And a lot of people said, oh, this is what they said, and this is what it's going to be, and this is written in stone. Whereas, yes, there was an answer given, but it wasn't specific enough to say, this is how it's going to happen. And we now have that clarification. A lot of people are going to be very, very, very happy when they see the answers and hear the answers, because a lot of people, I think, are misled with the information that's out there, because somebody read something that was posted, and if you know how gossip goes, you read it one way, and then you tell the next guy, and by the time it gets to the 5th person down the line, it's go to the store and get me a loaf of bread, not go to the bank and pay the electric bill. So it's a total miscommunication because of what was said or not said, that people wildly were going off on this. Now, Jack, you and I, we get this all the time. When we're off air, we spend a lot of time with our viewers and other people in the game, and other team speaks with other community members, and they pose a lot of questions to us. And a lot of times we do our best to give them the most concise, specific answer, how it's going to be. And a lot of times we got to go, listen.
Yes, that's true.
We know as much as you do, and we're speculating, which we do a lot also. We are not immune. On this show, we do absolutely speculate on a lot of things. because we read a lot and we read into what these other people are saying as well. Gurney, thank you for watching. We appreciate it. If you want to come on down, we're in Owl's Head. I think you know where we're at. You want to come sit down and join us, or come into Discord. Hit us up, come on in, chat about.
Say hi.
Say hello, talk to us, and tell us if you have any comments, questions, or anything that we can answer about what's upcoming, and what we do know. And of course, what we don't know, we're going to ask the questions and remove a lot of misconceptions out there. Something that is sorely needed, I believe. And I was very passionate about, to the point that, yes, I spent quite a bit of time this morning on the phone with Star discussing this.
Well, I know how passionate you can get about 3 topics, so yeah.
Last night, Duke Ezekiel Cooper was like, "Man, just stay away from him. He's on fire tonight." And I says, "Listen," and I'm not even talking combat here. And I got into a conversation with Themo Lock last night, and he's like, "Well, but," I was like, "Themo, I'm sorry. I stand by what my conviction is with this. I can only use 10 of my glyphs at any time. If I've got 100, I'm sorry. If I want to use glyph number 11, I can't do that." And again, I'm not going to get started on this today.
Yeah, but are we talking about combat today?
That's something that's going to be coming up. There's going to be some changes there as well. But what I was getting into is on the whole thing with, Themo's like, "Well, you got to do this, you got to do that. Come talk to me about this. Come talk to me about that." And I again explained to Themo, as I say to everybody out here, is right now I make my living sitting on my ass here in Owl's Head. I refuse to go out and grind and grind and grind and grind. When a new release comes out, like tomorrow's, I'm going to go out, I'm going to learn about the major mechanics that are in the changes. I'm going to go, okay, I want to play with this, I want to play with that, I want to play with the other thing. And then once I grasp what I need to get, I'm going to sit my butt back down here until next release, till the next mechanics come out. I'm not going to go out grinding. I'm not going to go play with combat and achieving skills and, the many, many, many other things that can be done out there. Because I know if I went as hard as Themo went, and I told him this, I would be burnt out by now. I could have easily gone out like any of these guys and done several GMs and, bashed the living ceiling out of some of these, skill gains and levels and do that. But it's a moot point at this point for me, only because I want it to be fresh, A. B, we're going to be here for a long time. I'm not even speculating on that. And there was another conversation I got into, but again, I'm not even going in that one. We're going to be here for a while, folks, and that's what it really comes down to. I'm not going to burn myself out doing that, so hence, I learn what I need to learn, and then I sit and wait. I go and adventure with folks. People tell you I'm out there. I go to events. I do, my random, wanderings. Of course, I love it, and this is going to be changing, of course, when I'm out in the world and somebody zones to me thinking I was sitting in Owl's Head and they were getting a free ride to the city. And, they find me out in, BFE in a pack of wolves, So that's going to change. I'm wondering, though, if there are any of the changes out there that are coming up for tomorrow that we can, that we can talk about. Well, we do have an update available here. Let me pull that up. I see
If I ever get to say anything today.
No, you're not talking today, man. This is the last show today.
This is the Laz on his podium, and he is going to scream from it.
I'll tell you what, it's not that I'm screaming. And I got scolded by Star for my excessive use of caps in several of my posts. I'm not going to mince words here because I did not mince those words in my posts. But yes, when I get passionate about a subject, and Jack is, very familiar, as I would say, with some of my rantings and ravings. And yes, when I get up on that soapbox, which is not often, it's because I'm very passionate about something here in the game that means a lot to me. Thank you, Amber Rain. Yes, Laz is on a soapbox today. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. I know we're a part of your day as you are a part of our day every day, and we're always happy to have you. Of course, for those who don't know, the lovely Mistress of Chaos has been laid up recently with some issues, and of course we wish her well, and we hope that she comes out of this all unscathed and back to us all in one piece. And I'll leave that for her to tell everybody when she's back up and on her soapbox, as it may be. But meanwhile, I'm going to step down from my soapbox as we go ahead and tackle today's stand-up corner. We'll go ahead and I'll let Jack.
I'm supposed to be prepared for that now. I'm supposed to be prepared.
We're never prepared. We wing this,
Yeah. And remember, if you guys want to join us in chat, you are more than welcome to join us in Discord. Just go to nbnn.info and click on the button there, and they will ask you to type in your name. Just type it in, and you'll go into our green room, and then just drop on down to the live channel.
Amber Rain.
Although
anyone that gets on a soapbox is usually because they are passionate about what they're talking about. Goodness knows the number of warnings, and 2 bans I've gotten in the forums, which is something that, thankfully, I've never had happen. And I also did explain to Star today that, listen, I said some very specific things that a lot of people want to say, but are unwilling to do so because they think these forums are over-moderated. Even though it wasn't a Dev Plus forum, people are afraid to speak out and do that for fear of repercussions of getting their account banned because, they spoke their mind. On this topic in particular, I'm sorry I had to speak my mind. And I'll give you the podium here in a second. But one thing Star did point out was that he says, Laz, come on, man. He says, you guys have the platform. Use it. Get it out there. I says, Star, I do, and I love it, and I love this shit, but this is Dev Plus, and we respect that. And I can't go beat... I can sit here and do what I'm doing right now. I can beat on the soapbox, but nobody's going to get it because I can't tell them what I'm talking about yet until it's public knowledge. And this part of the relationship we have with the guys down there as Dev Plus access people, we really highly respect that, and we try not to ever delve into that when we don't have to. On a day like today, today is the day before release, there's a lot of information out there, and do we divulge some of that stuff beforehand? Sure, we know fast travel's coming in, we know this is coming in, we've been on the QA all week, so yes, we see things. Is it coming out tomorrow? Sure, it's coming out tomorrow. So why shouldn't we talk about it today when a lot of people already know about it? There's a very, very fine line there. And that's a fine line that we, as media people, have to be very conscious of when we're talking here in the public, talking in those public forums, and talking in those Dev Plus forums. So I'm not going to apologize for speaking my mind at all. I did apologize several times in advance in my posts. At the end of my post, it says I'm apologizing in advance because I know that this is going to cause A, B, and C. I know that this is going to happen. And I did not expect Star to go, Laz, here's my phone number, call me. We need to talk. But I'm very glad he did, and I also explained something that Jack knows. A lot of times, we don't want to call these guys. We don't want to bother them, call them out and say, listen, we got to do this. We got a complaint. We got a question because we don't want to interrupt them. Well, Star has explicitly said, if you need to define something, you have something that you feel that passionate about, bother us. Drop a PM. Pick up the phone, call us. Get in touch with us.
I did tell you to take that post after I saw that, I should have responded with tone.
Well, yeah.
Because I knew it would probably ruffle Star's feathers a little bit.
Again, we had a very passionate conversation, is the way I will word that. Because, of course, he's defending his stance there, and understandable.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants their baby bashed, and believe me, I am not the guy who wants to be bashing the baby. We want to be killing them up, mutilating them, eating them, but we don't want to be bashing them, you know what I'm saying?
Aren't we supposed to be eating the babies?
Yeah, well, you know, that's another whole story. And babies are coming, by the way. They are coming. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. And yeah, maybe I'll get that guy up on the soapbox after this. Maybe I won't. But,
yeah, you are.
Today's stand-up corner brought to you by the one and only Jack. We are all Jack.
Okay. Remember, this is the stand-up corner for release week, and this was what was happening in the office yesterday. It was just posted a few minutes ago, so it's going to be a lot of the same thing. Yes. So remember this from Tuesday to February 23rd. Today is the 24th. Over in the art department, Bob was working on the Obsidian Tower bugs and the Cobalt Castle. Kevin Wells was working on the bugs. The Avatar update. Leo was working on the Spectral Mine sound effects and the sewer sound effects. Yep. Matt was working on bugs and play behavior animations and shooter party. Reed was working on bugs. In Baron player boat collision. Scotty was working on Kobold props and architecture. Over in design, Brandon was working on bugs. 28 prep. Dan was working on bugs. And release 28 prep. Finn was working on dragon animations and visual effects polish and bugs. Gina is doing event RSVP tracking and release 27 books in community. Keith was working on bugs. 28 prep. Richard Mady was working on bugs. And Skrek Kobold props. Scott Jennings was working on quest flagging for scene entry and bugs. I forgot where I'm at. Sorcerer Steve's working on bugs. And Malice over in tech. Joaquin was working on bugs. Polish and release 27 instructions review. One and Only was working on bugs. Burning Toad was working on builds and server maintenance and bugs. Over in QA, James was working on Sanity Report and release 27 player documents and regression. Michael was working on regression testing. Reese was working on sanity tests and bug forums and localization. And over in production management and other, Atos was working on leads meeting and bugs. And the shooter party, Dallas was working on general business and leads meeting. Michael was working on bugs. And leads meeting and player home levels of details. Lord British was working on bugs. And leads meeting and shooter party. Rick or Chaox was working on bugs. And then Star was working on leads meeting and shooter party and release 28 schedule and release 27 post and player owned towns and lots of dev plus posts and calling Laz.
Yeah, Laz was the reason for lots of dev plus posts probably there. And again, I do appreciate Star for taking time out of his day. Probably slowed down the release 27 post from getting out there this morning. Just a little bit.
Only the last several releases we've been able to talk about it during the show, and if today we're not able to talk about it, I'm driving to Florida and
it's gonna beat.
I'm gonna laugh at you.
Well, hey, at least I get to show you the studio finally, you know.
Yeah.
But
I'll go back to that old Adam Sandler skit. They're all gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, well. But yeah, it's just it was a very passionate thing. Again, we got Release 27 coming out tomorrow. For any of you guys who've been out there playing on the QA server, it's quite a few changes. I spent the better part of an hour yesterday with the Attonwood working on something. Now,
Trying to get unstuck.
To get unstuck.
I'm sorry.
There was a little bug in one of the scenes.
Little bug.
Yeah, big bug. You enter the scene and you're trapped. No way out whatsoever. And he came back to me. I says, listen, blah, blah, blah. He came and got me unstuck. And then, about a half hour, 45 minutes later, I get a message on the screen goes, I can't seem to recreate what you were doing, how you got there. And I had to explain to him the new game mechanic they put in was most likely the cause of what this was. I says I was coming from my town and I went into Blood River, and this is what I believe caused it. And he went, bingo. He says that's what I needed to know. Apparently there was a little idiosyncrasy with the way the scene was laid out, and there were certain things missing from the scene that allowed you to, that did not allow you to exit the scene at any point. Of course, there is no more exit to overland or start in the overland. Had I had some of the new travel features available, I would have been able to unstuck myself. But of course, I was just logging in to go out to check these all out and had not had been privy to having that ability yet. So it was interesting to find out. Nice to see how the thought process goes there as well.
What did you want to say, Scroda?
I'm sorry, is stuck removed?
Stuck is not removed.
Yes. Kind of.
It's instead of moving you to the front of a scene or taking you halfway across the world, stuck will now only move you.
It no longer will move you to the scene exit. It will actually move you to the last known good pathable location.
And I believe that's even been updated. Yeah, pathable is probably the best word for it. So not even just, there was an idiosyncrasy where the last place you entered or exit a zone from would be where your stuck point was. Now,
well, so if I was stuck on these two cornucopias, since we can provide a visual for this,
yes,
it would move me to the last known location that I was at that was actually pathable, which would be right over here.
Correct. So no longer
it's no longer going to it doesn't move you great distances.
But what the bug here happened to be was there was no sword for me to pick up to continue on to get out, nor was there an exit available. And with the removal of stuck, I could do stuck all I want. It wasn't going to get me out of the scene. I couldn't exit and come back on the overworld because that's been removed. Bad move on my opinion. My call, bad move. Start on overworld map should still be an option. I understand there's some issues.
It's too easy to exploit things with it.
I know there's some issues and some exploits, but a given time, I think we can overcome that.
Yeah, it's the same thing with instances. This is one where I think they're going to have to change how they actually use instances in the future to prevent the same kind of exploits that can be used by starting the overworld map.
Right.
And so if I go through and I farm an instance, and then I either join a party or I change the single player only or friends only online or any of that, I come into a completely brand new instance and I can go farming and farming and farming.
Correct.
But so it's one where they're going to have to find a way to lock an instance for at least 20 minutes. And if you change game modes, it's going to end up doing something different. That's where it's like, I say like game modes, they really should change it to where like single player online has like a quarter of the monsters or a fifth of the monsters of multiplayer online. Friends only online, say a third of multiplayer online. And so that way it gives people a reason for being in multiplayer online. and they don't get derive that same benefit of having the same number of monsters all to themselves, same number of resource nodes all to themselves. And so this is my soapbox.
Yes.
Is
Now,
instances.
On your soapbox, I was talking with the lovely Mistress of Chaos last night for a little while, and we got to discussing the riddles from Monday night. And, of course,
Yeah.
we were all bummed by not being able to do the quests that were planned and all this good stuff. But, yeah, because of the instancing caused everybody to have to basically wing it by the seat of our pants. To be able to just finalize everything, get everything done, and try and get everybody win giveaways and all that stuff. And one of my topics, and I know your soapbox, we should have, or somebody, the folks at Portalarium, I don't know if it's feasible, should have foreseen this before promoting such a large event. Now, while it was a smashing success data-wise, for data hunting and getting core information, absolutely. Did everybody have a great time? Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same problem that actually happens.
Yeah.
It's the same problem that actually happens at the release parties every single release.
Right. Would everybody like to be in one instance? Absolutely. And knowing that we have a hard limit on it, we just think that people would have assumed and anticipated this. Another big one, cramming all those people into a house. You had all this beautiful landscape, a beautiful market square out there in front of you for plenty of people to mingle and move about and not cause a lag fest, but no, they want to cram them into one room. Why? I still don't get it. Somebody, please explain this lunacy to me. Why would you want to do this? And Amber's going, yes, Jack, it happens.
Because it looks really cool. It looks really cool when there's 5 or 10 people there.
Yeah, of course.
But when there's 235 plus that are trying to do things, then it's not so fun.
Now, there was a picture tweeted out there, of course, with all names on, like I have on my screen right now, where you see everybody's name. Just by doing that in a scene causes enormous amounts of lag. So put 130 people in there with, say, 20 people, pulling up the names, another 20 people, actually, in this case, the plague was a major problem here because everybody had it, and nobody could do anything because every time you tried to cure it, it got passed on. So while it was funny and humorous, we never got to see Shooter perform because every time he tried to perform, he got the plague again. So he could never do a live performance in the game, which bummed out a whole bunch of people.
And also, it was also held in a place where there was no res shrine. So had they actually mass killed everybody inside of that basement, there would not have been an Ankh that anybody could have used.
Well, there was a mass kill, and it was outside, and the res Ankh was right outside. But that didn't fix it. And Amber goes, was all Star's fault. And yes, Starlong did take full responsibility for that. That's him being chaotic. That was. Do you remember what he actually said about that, Amber? What he said was it was his present for the album release party, part of his little gift in his own fun way. And it was hysterical, don't get me wrong. But we missed out on something that would have been really cool, which was Shooter Jennings actually playing one of the instruments in-game. I don't know if he was planning on doing one of his own tunes or he just had something else to play. But it would have been really great to catch and see Shooter do this. And maybe one of these days we can sit down and give Spec or Shooter a holler ourselves and say, hey, can we all sit down and let's get a little something with Shooter doing maybe a couple of his Countach songs, in the game with a couple of people. Maybe that would be something fun to shoot for down the line here. Now we're still looking for the Shooter Jennings interview.
I know I have to message him again.
Yeah. Now, again, as we know, he's been on tour. He's been a busy man. with the album release and all this. And again, I'm waiting for my here it is. Amber's got the quote. Sorry about the plague, but it is my nature to be chaotic. It was for Dark Star. Was the quote.
The funny part is, like, it is so actually against Star's real nature.
Yes, and and those of us who know better do know this. For those folks who do not know this out there, look at this. Just speaking of the man, I was just going to speak his name, and here he is, Lord British, popping up on the screen here. But as you know, those of us who are in the loop and understand, Lord British is more chaotic in real life, whereas Star is usually the one with the level head and quiet and reserved when that's happening. Oh yeah, did that happen again? It went down one more time.
Is it up right now?
I don't know. I muted it because I don't want to hear it through here. Yep, it was. Yep, it's there. But I just disconnected and reconnected, so it's going to drop there for a second. My apologies in advance, folks. I should have checked the audio first before I listened to you say it was broke. But yes, while Star is the Lord of Chaos here in game, by nature in real life, that is not his usual persona. As well, Lord British, Richard Garriott, a mild-mannered game designer, can be quite chaotic at times behind the scenes as well. And of course, we'd like to welcome him in here. Now, again, we missed out on a couple things because of the instancing, and we would have loved to have seen, maybe even go in and tweak the code so that we could have gotten more people in. Do we have a solution to this yet? We don't know. We do know that instances are always going to be capped.
I don't think it's a high priority over at the Portalarium offices, because this is not. I mean, this is where, like, Shroud of the Avatar is not quite an MMO, and it's not quite a single-player game. It's
correct,
kind of a hybrid between the two, and so it's not by design. They're not. I don't think they're going to spend all those resources to actually have 500 people in an instance ever. Although I would love to see that for larger events.
Well, see, that's where we gotta go.
And for like plays, and because like one of the things was the performance of the 7-piece game in-game band, where they're supposed to sync up and actually play. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because they ended up in 2 different instances. I was in an instance with 3 of the members, and I believe the other 4 were still in the original instance. And then eventually I did crash and ended up in the primary instance with Lord British Star.
3 different instances. Towards the end, and again, I mentioned this yesterday, and I had time to think about this. When I stopped having the problems is when we moved back outdoors. When we were indoors during the initial part, while we were listening to the party, there was a lot of lag and crashes. Again, indoors, 1 room, cram 130 people into. When we went downstairs, we still had the problem. When we came back out for that last hour or so, and we were outside with Shooter, I didn't notice any lag. I didn't notice any major problems, and I wasn't getting dropped. Because, again, we were, I believe, outdoors instead of crammed into a smaller space. Now, I don't know whether the code dictates this or not, that whether if you got them all crammed into a 5x5 area instead of, say, a 25 by 25 area.
This might also be a question for you, Les.
What's that?
Yeah, do you have aggressive decoration loading, or do you have coal interior decorations selected?
I think I have aggressive on. Why?
Because if you think about the lag and the loading of items,
oh, well, hold on.
Both of those settings would actually...
Stop. Yeah. When we went into that, I dropped my video settings down the fastest before I even
Yes.
went in. So I thought you were talking about right now. Yeah, he's saying the radio's quiet. We just lost it, didn't we? It was just on a minute ago.
A single player game. It's
Yeah.
kind of hybrid between the two. And so
Yeah, I hear it. I don't know. I'm listening to it there.
hold on, I can listen as well. I don't.
Oh, well, hold on.
I've got dead air.
Really?
Yep, dead air on the radio.
Okay, I'm hearing it, but we'll reset it one more time. But meanwhile, of course, we've got the hard copy. So I'm not worried about that because we will go out and replays. But we are resetting it here. Hopefully it will come back. But again, I don't know if you heard what I was just saying there. You know, I don't know whether the math dictates that if you put 150 people in a 5x5 or you put 150 in a 25x25, whether that makes a difference to the coding. You know, does it matter whether they're in the instance or the room or where that actually fine line, you know, gets to?
That would be the number of players on your screen. And inside of the small confined area, there's more players that are visible than when you're outdoors because people tend to spread out when they're outdoors.
Right, right. So let me just see here. Oh, yeah, I'm really muffled.
Lord British is asking if the radio's your end or their end.
Well, again, I mean, I'm listening here and I'm hearing it come through, but I just don't know why it won't be coming through the radios. Again, I've been having the internet connectivity and it's been a real bitch. As you can hear, you know, you hear us coming over the radio on my side, and that's not a local copy. That's coming across the internet. So.
That's weird.
Hopefully it'll be coming across to them in just a minute here. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't get it. All right, we're gonna just
Nothing. Lord British is asking if the radio's your end or their end.
yeah, there it is. Well, again, I mean, I'm listening here and I'm hearing it come through, but I just don't know why it won't be coming through the. It should be good there. Now,
So
again,
it should be
still,
back.
Still trying to figure out why I have so much bass coming through and I'm distorted.
Probably one of your volume knobs.
I've been tweaking it. I've been lowering it. I've been moving the microphone further away. I've been doing everything in my power. And again, you hear what it comes like in replays. Oh, that's really weird. Let me see. I'm hitting play.
Nothing.
And we went dead again.
Yep.
Okay, anyway. Well, we'll hope I get the cable guy to fix this when he gets out here. We're going to give it one real hard reset. Just
Should be back.
Still trying to figure out
why.
I see what's going on. It's in a loop.
I have so much bass coming through and I'm distorted.
Probably one of your
Dead
air loop
live,
knobs.
I've been tweaking.
Okay. Anyway, we're giving it a hard reset.
I have no idea. I do not have the answer for this.
Yeah, 47. Or was it 42? I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so what else are we going to talk about? Get back on soapboxes?
Yeah, well, again, there's a lot of questions out there. Again, like I said, I would love to get in depth a little bit more, and we'll probably be able to do that come towards the end of the week. More likely than not, I'm going to put my soapbox in the corner till next week when we get to sit down with Star and actually pose these questions so that everybody can hear the answers, see the answers, and see the discussion because there was a couple comments that people would love to have a transcript of the conversation that we just had today. And I would have loved to have provided that. But no, it's just, it was a phone call. We got, we got our I's dotted, our T's crossed. And I got some firm answers to some burning questions that a lot of people had absolutely wrong. And until we can go ahead and, put our finger on it and go, okay, I can talk about it now, we're just going to shelf that for a second. I want to take a quick look out here just to see. We don't have an updated R27 post, do we? I don't see anything new in my updates, but that wouldn't be something I'm watching. There is a new alert. Let us see.
Okay, no release 27 post yet.
Not as of yet.
Nope. And Lord British is stepping away from keyboard, so that's good for dead air on the radio. And I'm still listening to dead air. I forgot to stop it.
Here just to see.
So I just turned the radio
back on. We don't have an updated R27 post.
Yeah. So, but some things that we do have to look forward to are going to be the change to fast travel and it becoming a spell. This is something that was discussed during the post-mortem, so this is actually free and open information.
We know fast travel's coming.
But it's changing to a spell and it's changing to some other things.
Amber was saying what was she saying here? When they had the issue at the party on Monday, they're telling people to listen through their website, and they were having issues. The people who were listening.
The in-game radio.
Yeah, the in-game radio, according to Amber, apparently is getting a little wonky. So let me finish reading here. Contact through the website. They're not having issues. It's a bit frustrating, and then they worked it out. Not thinking about coding at all.
I know I loaded it up in Winamp to play it, just because that's how old I am. That I still use Winamp. The first few attempts of the out of game client off the webpage was giving me that the server was full, and then eventually I did get in to listen to the stream. Even though they did change it to the unlimited, and they added the link to the unlimited stream.
Yes, and again, as I'm trying to listen in both places, but if I listen while we're broadcasting, of course, the feedback loop we get with that. So I try and avoid. But looks like we've got audio coming through. I'm surprised you haven't heard from Justin, or if you have, you haven't mentioned it.
Well, I told her it was broken a little bit.
Oh, I figured she would have chimed in at least. And
Nah, she's not texting me today.
But I'm hearing it on the radio, so I have been hearing it intermittently. We do apologize for that as well.
You know what's really going to be funny?
What's that?
I'm willing at 101, they are going to actually post up the release 27 instructions.
Yeah. As I will take full responsibility for holding Star up and getting that post out today. It's all Laz's fault. But nonetheless, we got the release coming up. A lot of great stuff coming out in this release. A lot of people are going to be a little bit annoyed because when you first come in, you're not just going to be able to poof, instantly teleport like you used to. You're going to have to go learn a few new game mechanics, find a couple new things in game, and learn how to travel the old school way. And yes, old school. I guess I can put this out there, but yeah, it's recall and teleport is what they're aptly called. This was discussed in the postmortems. So it is public record that we are going to have this kind of travel spell. Last I looked, it was still had some kinks to be worked out. and I'm going to be out there here in about a half hour after the show, playing and seeing if there's anything new out there. Matter of fact, well, I'm just thinking about it real quick.
Well, the interesting thing about the bindings for the recall is that you can bind to a town crier, which is something that they discussed if you do not own a house.
Correct.
But you won't be able to bind to every single one of your houses like you used to be able to.
Here's a question: if we're actually getting
Like
through
currently, you
radio
can
and
own
Lord
multiple
British-
houses and
Yeah.
choose them all.
But if we're getting
That-
through the
that would-
radio, and Lord British can hear this and possibly answer us, here we are. We sit in Owl's Head. Owl's Head does not have a town crier. You don't own a house. You want to come to Owl's Head. How do we do that? Or is that... I don't know if that's been changed in the QA, so I guess we'll get that answer tomorrow. Either that or you're going to have to pick a town crier someplace close outside and not have an option to come into Owl's Head. There are several other towns, only a handful though, that do not have these town criers. I think Kingsport's another one that don't have it. Braemar has one. But there's only one or two odd ones out like here that we don't have a town crier per se.
Yeah, and this is where they made the guards function as the town crier with the access to lots.
There you go.
But the question then becomes, is it bound to that specific guard? Or is it just to the town entrance?
Right. I'm going to be curious to see this, and of course I'm going to go explore it. By the time we get here to tomorrow's show, the answer will probably be obvious because we'll be able to see it here live in the game where we can discuss it just a little bit more in depth. But I'm going to be curious to see what the answer to that is, or whether just a town crier NPC mysteriously just shows up at the front of Owl's Head. Gonna be
That's
interesting
fine,
to keep
too.
an eye on. By all means. But let's go ahead and knock out today's calendar. While we have a show with not a whole lot, we've managed to still cover an hour, just about here.
Yeah, it's called the soapbox strategy.
Soapbox strategy. Yeah, we could just
so-
derail the train and talk about,
Yeah, remember our calendar is brought to us by our friends over at Avatar Circle. It is a community calendar, so it connects to several different guilds' calendars via Google Calendar. And we host it over on NBNN.info. So you're always more than welcome to just go to NBNN.info and click on the calendar button, and you'll be able to see the calendar. Or you can always go to AvatarCircle.com and go to it that way.
Ooh, good point.
So today is Wednesday.
Good.
Wednesday, February 24th. And then, let's see. Today is Wednesday, February 24th. Yep. Yeah, I got distracted by the Akush lady post.
Wow.
So, yeah, the squirrel. So today on Avatars Radio, we have DJ Goldenwing with Community Appreciation Wednesday, where they play 3 hours long set. They play some music, poetry, stories, everything from the community. At 6 o'clock on Avatars Radio is DJ Squirrel. He's very distracted. Yes. And then at 7 o'clock, Every Virtue is Lasting has their Virtue League PvP tournament. This is a new event for them. So the Virtue League PvP tournament every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Looking to break into the PvP scene, but don't want to be placed. These established godlike players. We have you covered it with a leaderboard where the newer, less experienced players don't fight the cream of the crop who have something to prove.
Yes.
Entry fees. So this is a change from Pipsqueak PvP to now a league PvP tournament. So that way you rank up.
Yes, there's a website, leaderboards, the whole works out there. have Jade on
Yeah.
tomorrow, Friday, to talk about this, because she's got a bunch of stuff she'd like to tell the community about that they're doing social-wise out there.
That is actually really cool. Yeah.
They have a hat quest coming up. EVL is putting on
Yeah,
their
I was going to get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
And
yeah,
they've challenged another guild to do it for release 28. So if PvP is not your thing, then and you're more into roleplay, you can always join go to Kier Drockwitch or Zone to Bone Bloodgood for Wednesday nights, where you get to roleplay a night and be very knightly. Maybe go do some roleplay, some boss hunts, gathering materials, crafting, hat quests, hanging out, or whatever people feel up to. And at 8 o'clock is Wednesdays, which is Laz's favorite event of the week, which is Spin Sparhawks Gold. Yeah, I thought you were going to join in sooner on that one. So this happy hour actually takes place somewhere in some pub, just zone to Striker Sparhawk to take advantage of it. Or you can always go read the forum post. Yeah, some pub somewhere, more than likely in Paxlayer. But zone to Striker Sparhawk for that, and enjoy yourself. Enjoy some good company with some good friends. Striker Sparhawk is one of those awesome guys.
A Kush lady put out there, I think, is very sage advice for everybody who's listening or may listen before tonight's log out.
So it would be a good idea to plan where your avatar lands in the new release and log off there tonight.
Absolutely. Good idea. So if you don't know what's coming up with travel tomorrow, or how you're going to get around, or exactly what you want to do with your game and how you want to figure this all out, safe bet tonight, folks, is log off where you want to be tomorrow morning when you come into the game. Save yourself a lot of headache, because I ran into that yesterday. And I'm going to try and stop you all from getting caught up in the
which should remind me to run to my house and go bind to Owl's Head so I can have a teleport spot.
Well, that's not going to help you, because you're not going to be able to do that till tomorrow.
I know, but like, go run over to my house tonight and log out there.
Absolutely.
Put a post-it note saying "bind to your house."
Yeah, put it right on your monitor so that when you wake up tomorrow before we go live, you can bind to this house. That's another question we got to ask. If you're on my house, can you bind to this house? I guess we will have the answer for that tomorrow.
Yep.
But meanwhile, we are out of time for today's show. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves out of here so we can go do a little bit more play testing before tomorrow. Yes, by the way, we'll be able to zone to our house. That's what we're talking about, Gurney. Zone command is going bye-bye. No more will you be able to use /zone. You will need a teleport scroll or a recall scroll, or whichever it is they've got it figured out to go ahead and do this back to your house. But you will only be able to mark it on one location, like Jack was saying, either your house or a town crier, and only one. So if you own multiple lots in different cities, you can only choose one. You can't zone to all the lots you have if you own 5 lots. Well, you can if you have 5 lots with 5 characters and you have them as friends. Hint, hint.
Yeah, everybody's bound to a different house.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, one of my other problems, real quick, I've got many friends, and many people have multiple accounts, so I'm going to park people, and I'm going to use them to zone. What's going to stop me from bypassing those big old control points? Not a damn thing. Hello? Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, $20 Steam half-price sale, folks. I hate to put it this way, but that's what people are doing right now. But we'll have that with Starlong next week as well. See what he's got to counter that one. Meanwhile, we got to get out of here, folks. Let's go ahead and say thank you to all our sponsors. I'll roll the videos on that. Of course, our friend...
okay, thank you to Relics by Rild. Ben, we love you, and thank you providing everybody with a discount if they use the discount code NBNN for 10% off at relicsbyreal.com. Also, thank you to our friends over at sodacraft.com. If it wasn't for Ashmal's hard work, I would have no idea how to craft anything.
That's right.
If taming is your thing, you can thank Knickknack for sodataming.com. And then I know I'm missing something.
Shroud Market.
If you're looking to buy or sell anything, remember shroudmarketplace.com. That is a great place to, if you want to sell your items, you can do that there. Just register for a vendor account. And if you're looking to buy things, you can always find things. And there is a messaging system to where if you're looking for something and you know someone has it, and you can see if they're willing to part with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Meanwhile, that's going to wrap it up for us today, folks. We're already running over time. This is Laz.
This is Jack. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for communicating with us. Otherwise, we don't have anything to talk about.
That's right. Without you guys, we are nothing. Lovely Mistress of Chaos out there. Amber Rain, thank you for joining us today. Without whom this would not have been possible, because if I didn't have the inspiration from Amber, we would not be here doing this. So big thanks go out to her as well. I'll be wishing you'll be in my prayers tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later on today after the show. Meanwhile, stay tuned to NBNN for more news, sports, entertainment, crazy wild happenings, and the Starlong interview coming up next week to clear up a whole lot of questions that we have answers to. Alrighty, folks, that's it for now. We'll see y'all next time. I want to get back on my soapbox.
I know you do.
I get back on my soapbox now. I love
Yeah,
this
you can
shit.
get on your soapbox. Yeah.
Casey.
Hey,
Where's your...
Casey's not with us.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. Casey had to leave.
Oops.
Yeah, he's got real life stuff going on. Yeah, I was gonna say Duke of Water